Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to our special Game of Thrones House of the Dragon Episode 6 Open Spoiler After Show. I am John Campea. I'll be hosting you here today, joined, of course, by Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing?
John, after last night's episode, man, a lot of stuff happened. I feel heavy in my heart.
And we're going to be joined in a little bit by Kris Carr, who is sitting in the back of the room there, kind of still developing her theory, whether she's Team Rhaenyra or Team Alicent. So she's working all that out. So that's the new, what was Robert Pattinson's name again? Team Edward. It's the new Team Edward or Team Jacob. It's Team Rhaenyra or Team Alicent. That's going to be the question that tears the country apart.
I think so.
That everybody's going to be talking about. So yeah, last night's episode. Let's get right into it. And by the way, guys, in case the title of the show doesn't kind of give it away, this is going to be an open spoilery kind of discussion. If you have not yet seen House of the Dragon Episode 6, you may want to just add this video to your favorites list and come on back and check it a little bit later. But if you're comfortable, settle on in, because here we go. All right. The time jump happened. The thing that happened like every episode after episode 2 where I say, I think next week's the week they're going to get the new actors. Never happened. This is the week that actually finally it came. We got our new things. We've jumped ahead 10 years. And, you know, what a way to start. Childbirthing scene.
Oh. And
I remember I'm sitting there with Anne and we're watching it. And I mentioned to her, as soon as the scene starts, I say out loud, I hate childbirthing scenes. I feel incredibly uncomfortable, but I guess that's what we, the audience, were supposed to feel. We're supposed to feel uncomfortable with that. So it gets right into that. It takes the brain a minute to calibrate with, okay, new actors, we are ahead 10 years, blah, blah, blah. Things are going to be a bit different here. Took a minute for that. But right from this scene, like, we understand a lot that is going on just from the scene itself. Number one, she's had her third child. Number one, none of the kids are his. That's number two. Number three, her and Alicent, the relationship has just continued to sour over the years, which is obviously when the lady comes in. The queen wants the baby brought to her right away. It's like, you asshole.
Yeah.
You asshole. But then you also immediately get the nature of their relationship when Rhaenyra's like, nah, I'm walking there myself then. And she's walking, and it's like, oh my God, it's horrific. Her just walking was like painful to watch. I mean, it's brilliantly done. But it makes you like, oh my God, so you're getting a sense of her spite and her strength and all of that in one. So she makes that walk. But again, it took the brain a minute to calibrate to the new realities. But for you, what was that like? Just, you know, getting settled in that this is we are now a decade later. We've got, because I never know the name of the performers, but the girls who are playing Alicent and Rhaenyra have been wonderful up to this point. We now move to their older counterparts. How was that transition for you?
It was fine for me. I knew it was coming. Maybe because I had watched a clip. It was on the HBO YouTube channel of the two of the actresses talking to one another and answering questions. So I felt like I'd already kind of known them. But man, they drop you into the pain. It was hardcore. And watching what she went through, and then immediately, what I really loved is you immediately know that these women hate each other.
Yeah.
And it was set up because Rhaenyra, she might have told the truth, but she didn't tell the whole truth. And then Alicent found out she did lied to her face.
Well, and based on that lie, Alicent kind of sided against her own father and ended up on her father going away. So now she's incredibly resentful about that and bitter about that.
Absolutely.
And she's got, of course, the biggest thing, of course, she has her own children. That traditionally her son should be next in line to the throne. And like, there's a lot going on.
A lot going on. I mean, the two of them, what I really love about this show is they've made it very clear that the two of these two women are in mortal combat now, and for all kinds of reasons, and all legitimate. And I love it. I mean, even though because I like Alicent and I like Rhaenyra, but I totally understand why they hate one another. And part of it is a product of the world that they live in. Part of it is from an actual natural rivalry. These are friends. Alicent is trapped by her station in life. Rhaenyra has had the opportunity to take what she wanted, especially in terms of lovers or things like that. She has things that Alicent is never going to have maybe until later. And there's a lot of resentment. And I also think, though, that Alicent does have, her father said, Otto said, the realm is what's important here. We have to preserve the realm.
Well, everybody thinks they're doing what's best for the realm.
And that's what I love. And I really think that Alicent does think that. And she's like, look, Viserys's family, they're just all a bunch of a-holes. They're all selfish, whether it's Daemon, whether it's Rhaenyra, all of them. And it's time for a change.
Well, it all comes back to, I think, this episode and the entire previous 10 years, which we skipped over, everything, the first domino to fall in leading to the series of events we're at now was Alicent saying goodbye to her father and her father saying, Rhaenyra is going to kill your son.
Yeah.
Because she's going to have no choice, because she's got to get rid of any other, claim to the throne. That is what quote unquote poisoned the well. Like that, at that moment, Alicent's path was set. And that gets repeated where she's talking to her son, Aegon, post jerky out of the windy.
What's with people at the windows, man?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. Like
I never did that as a kid.
The kid is a fan of the boys. I mean, just give him that. The kid's the fan of the boys. So, but in that whole conversation she has with us, she basically, you can tell that one thing that her dad said to her as he was leaving has never left. That is the first thing she thinks about when she wakes up in the morning, is the last thing she thinks about when she goes to sleep. And it's the only thing she hears in her head whenever she looks at Rhaenyra's face.
That's right.
And because she caught Rhaenyra in something of a lie, she has no trust for her.
No.
And I see a lot of people in this, am I team Rhaenyra or team Alicent, too quick to turn against Alicent because of, and listen, for the record, I happen to be team Rhaenyra. But the reality is this situation exists because she lied to Alicent.
Right.
And let's be honest here. The big cover-up and the big lie in the whole thing is hers. Them kids ain't her husband's kids.
No, and it's like the secret that shall not be spoken aloud, but everyone knows that this is going on. And to me, one of the things that, like, I would say I'm Team Rhaenyra, but I thought it was a strategic mistake that she's done this. I understand, but it's like, what did she think was going to happen?
Well, especially when you have your first kid is born with black hair. What, like?
I mean, at least they all have the same father.
What are you thinking? Like, going back to the same, stud to mare, like going back to that again and again, knowing that we're going to continue to have kids that have dark hair, and everybody knows, like, nobody in the kingdom doesn't know. Everybody knows, but they keep up this facade. Like, it's even got really sad when Viserys himself, like, he's just keeps trying to convince himself when he looks at the baby and says, oh, he has his father's nose. Like, no, he don't. He's got that guy's nose, because that guy's dick was over there. I mean, and it's like, I don't know who they're trying to fool. So it's like, what are you doing, Rhaenyra? What are you doing? So all of this is kind of on her.
No, it really is. And I think that, couldn't they have tried it? I mean, I know her husband's gay, but they could still work something out, right?
I mean, I guess
Apparently not.
they had the Maesters were able to create like a morning after tea. Did they have a morning before Viagra thing in Westeros?
Just close your eyes and imagine, but it is. So there, what I love about the show though is that beef that the two of them have is very legitimate, and it's multidimensional. It works on many different levels, which is what I think this show is doing best. It's presenting us with characters that are multifaceted, and you can like them one minute and hate them the next. And I think that's a really hard thing to do. There's there's one character we can talk about later.
Larys, yeah.
Larys, man.
Littlefinger.
Littlefinger and Varys.
Middle finger.
Yeah, middle finger. Yeah, Larys and Varys. Larys, the cross between Littlefinger and Varys. He is a bastard, but we'll get to that. But I do love these characters, even if I don't like them. I mean, we see Daemon. We meet Daemon 10 years on. He's a different guy. He's more mellow. He's more there in Pentos, just chilling out. Him and his wife, he married who Viserys didn't want to marry. And they seem, like you pointed out, he's married to someone he seems to really love. They have family. They're kind of living high on the hog. Pentos makes him an offer. Come here. We'll give you this castle. Just live here and you can live your life. It'll be great. Because they need him.
I would have taken the offer.
I would have taken that offer.
I totally would have taken that offer in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though your wife would come to you and go, don't you want, you're not the Daemon I married 10 years ago or whatever. But still.
She's a warrior though. I mean, she's got a warrior spirit.
I would have taken that deal too, because you have now a place that you can operate from, and what kind of scheming could you get up to there? Probably a lot.
But he doesn't even want to be a part of any of that.
No.
I think he's so over it. And I'm sorry, like, I get it, but there's something about all these Valerians, all of them, the whole swash of them. Like, listen, strategic, nice, but Rhaenyra says I propose that my son marry my sister. Because that is her half-sister. That's her half-sister that she proposed to marry her son off to. And it's like, all of y'all is icky. You're all icky.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. Part of that was kind of weird.
And then her father and just, oh yes, that's a great idea. We'll strengthen the family bonds.
Yeah.
Why not do this?
And of course, because nothing good ever happens to Viserys. Like, everything always has to be screwed up by somebody.
And the thing about that is ultimately it's not even real. If they were even to have done that and then it came out later that they weren't really full-blooded Targaryens, that would have been a big problem.
Wait, but here's the thing. This is the part that I don't understand about how Westeros looks at this and the Valerians look at this. Her kids, Alicent's kids, ain't fully Valerian either. They're not fully Targaryen either.
No.
She is not Valerian.
No, she's Hightower.
And like her family lines are not from Old Valyria. And so, okay, her kids are half. Rhaenyra's kids are half. I mean, they pretend like they're whole, but they're not. They're half. So it's like, I get it. In Westeros, they threw away the what do they call her? The queen that never was. They threw her away, even though she was the legitimate heir to the throne, just because it had to be a guy. Had to be a guy. So I get it. They look at it a little bit differently. But again, it's like, okay, her kids are half Targaryen. Well, her kids are half Targaryen too. But that's not the way Westeros will look at it. And it's interesting. It's frustrating, and it's interesting at the same time. Let's talk for a second about Lady, I forget how to pronounce it, the Corlys's daughter that was supposed to be married to Viserys when she was... Laena.
Yeah.
Her death.
Oh, boy.
First of all, obviously, a kind of a mirror up to episode 1 with Viserys's wife and the choice that they had to make and whatever. It's echoed there, and like she just decides, I ain't going out like that. Like she understood, okay, I'm doomed. There's nothing I can do. This baby's going to kill me. So she's like, I'm not going to go out like that, screaming on a bed. I am going out, and I'm getting my puppy, and I'm going to tell my puppy to spit at me, and I'm going to go out that way like a dragon rider. And I thought, that is the most badass thing we've seen in the show so far. Like it's like she's Klingon. Like she goes out there and she's like, no, I ain't going out like that. I'm going out like this. I'm going out by dragon fire. And she goes out. And I love that scene. We talked about it a little bit on the show earlier today, but I love that scene because not only are we seeing like badassness at its core, but we also see Daemon maybe for the first time in the show, like Daemon legitimately broken, if you will. Like he comes running around that corner and he like cries out to her. And I mean, there was no hope for her. She was going to die. But I just, there's so much about that scene that I loved so much. Any of that kind of stuff?
No, I mean, I really like that too. That's not how it happened in the book. You know, it's much more that she delivers a child that's stillborn. I liked that. I mean, it brings back the idea that she accepted her fate, but she went out on her own terms. You know, she made that decision. No one was going to tell her anything. And like you said, I mean, I do wonder about Daemon because he is kind of, I wonder if that was, in a way, if that absolved him of any kind of guilt. We're going to say, I can't wait to see how it's going to go on. Like, what's he going to do with his daughters now? What's he going to do next?
Yeah.
What's his next move? And it'll be interesting to see what his relationship with his daughters continue to be or doesn't continue to be. I'm a little fearful for those little girls.
Yeah. And then it ends with, I mean, something Rhaenyra said they should have done a long time ago. She up and moved the family to Dragonstone.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if she's thinking out of sight, out of mind. I mean, as long as we're not there, nothing else can go wrong as long as we're not there. I have a feeling that's going to come back to bite them in the ass because I think, and I wonder, like next episode, are we going to jump ahead in time some more? I don't think I saw the preview for next week, so I'm not really sure. But I mean, just a lot of things going on here. And okay, so now let's get to Larys. this dude is far more. I mean, you could tell he was a bit of a snake from the first episode, right?
Yes, that we saw him in last week.
But this was a different level. The way he without a second thought, okay, I'll murder my brother and my father. Yeah, I'm just going to do that today. That was indeed one of the colder things, not just House of the Dragon. That is one of the colder things we've seen in Game of Thrones. Period.
Ever.
Like, he didn't even blink an eye. He's like, oh, I got an idea. How about I just kill my dad and my brother? And that way you will probably get what you want, and then you're in my debt.
Well, it's funny. It was cold-blooded, but on the other hand, he also knew that his father and his brother are both complicit in this fiction, which is the brother sired these 3 children.
But he has no honor. Laris has no honor. He doesn't care about that. Well, they're doing this lie. He's not worried about that.
No, but I think that's how he justifies it to himself. Like, he's playing the Game of Thrones too. And he basically says to Alicent when he's done, you owe me.
Yeah.
I've done you a service. I've taken care of this big problem that could tear apart the realm. And I'm Team Alicent. I'm here for you because your son, Aegon II, is the rightful heir to the throne. And I think that's what he's trying to do, is ally himself.
Like the way he did it too. He's like, when your queen says she wants something done, what servant of the realm is not going to carry it out? And she's like, I didn't ask for this.
Right. Right.
Like, yeah, you kind of did.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, he's totally gaslighting her. It's like, yeah, you wanted that. Yeah, you kind of did.
That's true, but he wanted to do it, but still she can't admit it. But she would have if because her family and she was in mortal danger with Rhaenyra taking over the throne. That might not have happened, but she was always, because she even says, to her oldest son, she says, look, man, we're in danger. You better mind your P's and Q's or you're going to get taken out.
I mean, she could have taken her father's advice didn't just end with, like, Rhaenyra's going to kill your family. He also offered another option, because cleave to Rhaenyra. Like, cleave yourself to her.
Yeah. Because
you're going to need her mercy at some point later on. Or she could have just, when Rhaenyra stood up in the small council and suggested, look, how about I marry off my firstborn son to your daughter? They all rule. Blah. She could have just said yes and ended it, but it's too late now. At this point, they hate each other, and it kind of is what it is. And it's just, I am curious to see, because Laris is really the first, I would say, straight up villain we've had in the show so far.
Right.
Everybody
agree.
else is 50 Shades of Grey. Like, Otto was totally for his own self-interest, but he also does care about the health of the kingdom. Daemon is a bit of a dick, but he's also just a dude trying to do his own thing. Like, everybody's kind of been 50 Shades of Grey. Laris to me is the first, like, truly, I'm a bad guy. And I'm here. So what are you going to do with it? And it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out in the next couple of episodes. One thing the showrunners did say, though, that I wanted your take on this. During the post show, and you see the showrunners talking, I think Shapotnik was the one who said it, but he said, this episode kind of marks the transition of the show to being about these kids.
Yes.
How did you interpret that? Like, when he said that, the rest of these episodes are really, this episode is a transition from the focus being on Rhaenyra and Alicent to really becoming more of a focus on the kids.
Well, I think, the kids are going to go off into the world and be important in the battles to come. And I think that, children in these kinds of stories, they are products of their parentage, and they're also inheriting the family legacy. So you've got all these things at work in these children. Like, we all want to believe. Here's the thing about these kids. They're born polluted. They're born marked. They're born into a world that they didn't ask to be born into. And they are stuck with whatever their position in life is. They don't even get a chance. You can't wash away your sins because the sins were imposed on you by people that you didn't even know, because they birthed you, they created you.
Or even generations before you.
And so these kids, in a way, they're born victims. And the question is, are they going to be able to achieve more? Can they move away? Can they leap beyond their station in life and maybe try and make a better world? Or are they going to be like, Joffrey in Game of Thrones, who just becomes a total prick, and tortures people and embraces it. I mean, I think what's great is you now have this lineage on either side of Alicent and Rhaenyra, and we saw them already interacting. The kids are already rivals with one another. And I think what that does is it makes us question, we as the viewers and the characters in the show question, what does that mean what does it mean to be a parent? What does it mean and how do we become better parents, or should we become better parents? Or there's so many interesting questions to ask, and all the kids are different.
You know what's interesting? During the whole thing, like when they were picking on Aegon's little brother, it looks like Aegon and his, what do you call them? His uncles. Aegon and the other kids, who I guess are technically are they his uncles? I can't remember.
Nieces and nephews, maybe?
Okay, so their sister is their nieces and nephews, yeah. Anyway, those kids, Rhaenyra's kids, it seems like they almost get along, and the one of Alicent's kids is the one that's getting picked on, who from everything I've heard turns out to be the worst of everybody. But I mean, so that's pretty interesting too. Anyway, guys, we could talk on here for the next hour or so, but we want to take the rest of the show hearing from you guys. Before the show started, we had opened up the super chats, and you guys actually completely filled everything up before we even started the show. So unfortunately, we had to turn the super chats off before we started. But you guys got a lot of those questions, thoughts, opinions, observations, and theories in. So let's go over and start hearing those right now. So Rob, what have people been writing in here?
Hitchcock is the GOAT says Rhaenyra's boy's dark hair legitimizes Jon Snow. For non-readers of the books, it was a stretch that Jon Snow was the only Targaryen without silver hair.
Yeah, once again, if we have those kids with brown hair in the show, their mother is Targaryen.
Yeah, it's just those Winterfell genes, man.
They
overpower. When you're cold, the blonde goes right out of you.
All right, what's next?
Stubble McShave says, the enmity between queen and princess is seen as political, but the queen's anger is just as much that of jealousy. She never got to pick her lover.
Well, I mean, I was watching, I can't remember who it was. I was flipping through a bunch of post-show videos that a lot of people put up. I remember one of them said, like, maybe Alicent, and it flashed back to the episode where King Viserys is, like, having sex with her, and she's just like, Meanwhile, Rhaenyra is running around with all the hottest guys in the kingdom, whether it's Daemon or what's Kristoff? Is that the Kristen Cole, who's a little bitch, by the way. Kristen Cole, or what's his last name? Strong. That's the family, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's like she's running around with all the hottest guys in the world. Meanwhile, she's kind of not in as good of a place.
No.
By the way, did you notice that Viserys' arm was amputated?
Yes.
I didn't till near the end of the episode. I didn't realize. Wait a minute, has that been gone the whole time? Yeah, his whole arm's gone.
Yeah.
I never noticed that before.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
That throne. It's killer. Sean Stewart says, did they make King Viserys too sickly in early episodes? How did he live 10 more years? I like the episode, but maybe my least favorite.
Well, I mean, he's clearly gotten worse. I mean, look, because you went from one and then you fast forward a number of years and 2 fingers were gone. Now we fast forward 10, his hair's gone. He's got, his face is covered with whatever. His entire arm has been amputated. So it looks like it's progressing at the same pace that it was before. And by the way, a lot of people thought it was grayscale, but Paddy Constantine, he confirmed it was a form of leprosy that he had. Oh. He contracted a form of leprosy, he said in the thing. So it was not grayscale.
All right. Well, that's good to know.
All right, what's next?
Dwan Williams says, those boys will grow up to be friends and brothers. Terrace. Yeah, sure. Because every plan you made to heal the realm has worked perfectly.
Listen, at the end of the day, the story of King Viserys is a story of tragedy.
Such tragedy.
It is a guy who was, first of all, put into a position he didn't really ask for as being king, right? And legitimately, like, we never once saw him make a decision that he didn't legitimately think what was best for the kingdom, right? He has always tried to do what he thought was best for the kingdom at every step. And at every step, whether it was one of his, either his stupid sibling or his stupid kid or his stupid wife or whatever, there's like at every step along the way, people just make shit soup, and it's just like, oh my God. And At the end of the day, I just feel bad for this guy. I just really, really do.
I'm right there with you. The poor guy. But you know what? He's his own worst enemy.
I mean, yeah, but even at the end, he's sitting there watching these kids, these grandchildren, well, kids and grandkids, playing, and he still wants to be hopeful. Like, we're gonna have a great future for our kingdom, and he's like, jeez. All right, what's next?
Frustrating. Dwan Williams says, just a heads up, Allison actually has another boy, Dayron, at this point. He should be about 6 and in Old Town, so keep an eye out for that.
Well, yeah, because I think they said she has 4 kids.
Yeah.
So we've seen the 2 older boys. We've seen the daughter. Have we not seen? Did we not see the last one? I guess we didn't see them in this episode. I lose track of them.
Yeah, we've only seen 3.
I couldn't even name all of my cousins to you. I really can't. So my own cousins. There's a lot of them. All right. What's next?
Nasser says, I was worried we wouldn't get enough character development with the time jump, but I cried like a baby during Lena's death. How did you feel about it?
I thought it was incredible. I mean, at first I thought, no. Like we just got, but really we have followed this girl's story from when she was, how old was she when they wanted to marry her off? 12. She's 12. We follow from that to the green wedding or whatever they call it. To this point, we actually got to see her almost her whole life.
And I have to say, I really like the actress's portrayal of her character in this episode. I mean, She starts out, she's great. They're riding their dragons. But when she says, what happened to the man I married? You know, I don't want to live here. I don't want to live in Pentos in the lap of luxury. I want to find the guy I see you. You were a schemer. Let's go back and make something happen.
You know what else is really good? When she mentioned that she misses her brother. And then you forget about this because she says to Damon, I know you do too. It's like, oh yeah, these guys went to war together.
Yes.
These guys were brothers in arms. So I have a feeling we're going to see more of that. And listen, let's not forget that the very first set picture, the very first production picture that ever came out about House of the Dragon ages ago was Daemon and Rhaenyra.
On the beach.
The older Rhaenyra standing out on the beach. So we've always known at some point their stars are going to align. And you forget.
Oh, and they do.
Oh, and they do. But I mean, he has deep affection for her husband, his brother-in-law. Oh my God. That guy, because these fucking Valerians, he's his brother-in-law twice. Anyway, strange way to think. It's just, superimpose the flying numbers and equations in front of my head right now. But anyway, so I think we're going to see something really cool with that happen. And with Daemon, drama always follows.
Oh, and there'll be drama.
There's going to be drama. All right, what's next?
Alex Von Gollum says, Viserys is now giving me Don Corleone's vibes. Now I'm expecting him to say to Rhaenyra, I never wanted this for you.
Yeah, look what they did to my boy. I mean, except he ain't got Vito Corleone's muster.
But he did want that for her. He named her there.
Yeah.
You know, he said, and of course, that'll come into play, but there's going to be a lot of people that reject that notion. Yeah, we might have said it once. That was a long time ago.
But one of the things, too, when you go back to it, he didn't just name her as heir because he felt like he owed it to her. He felt she is the one who should be queen. She should be ruling this kingdom. And he wasn't wrong. She's the stock to rule. She's made some mistakes along the way, though.
Yeah.
She's backed herself into a corner, and we'll see. All right, what's next?
A-Rod 2006 says, so it's Alicent Hightower Targaryen who starts the family tradition of going full bore mad. Her jealousy of Rhaenyra is going to cause massive issues.
I mean, yes and no. Again, just going by the show, she has every right. Look, I hate to say it, but she has every right to hate Rhaenyra. Like, when her father said to her, like, she's going to have your kids killed, and maybe you too, that would have gone in one ear and out the other if she then didn't find out that her supposed friend straight up lied to her face. And then sees in her a pattern. Because again, remember, I'm Team Rhaenyra, but then over the last number of years has done nothing but seen Rhaenyra continue her pattern of lies and deceit, of lying about this and lying about that and pretending these are, pure Valerian Targaryen children, and they're not. I mean, she's probably slept with the entire castle guard. I mean, at this point, so all of that stuff if you're Alicent, put yourself in Alicent's shoes. You have every reason to believe that she's terrible. I mean, we as the audience get to see all the different sides, but from strictly Alicent's perspective, she thinks Rhaenyra's terrible.
Well, and also Alicent has done everything that duty has called upon her to do. It was her father, Otto, who said, go see the king and wear your mother's dress.
Yep.
So she's been doing everything that she was told to do. Now she's in a situation where even though she's the wife of the king, the king's daughter has already been named heir. But now they're in a situation where she knows that even though I've done everything that is expected of me, I've been a good queen, I did what my father did, I don't have agency over my own life. That if Rhaenyra, and everyone knows Viserys is going to die. So when he's gone and Rhaenyra is either going to ascend to the throne or in her mind now, wait a minute, my kids, and her father even told her, your son is the legitimate heir to the throne. So she's in a situation like, my duty should be, I shouldn't have to worry about myself, but Rhaenyra is somebody, it's a wild card. She everything that she's ever done in her life, all the traditions she's followed and everything that she's done right and she's been told to do, she's done. And yet this woman can take her out if she so desires, if the realm.
A woman that she has seen, from her perspective, done nothing but lie to her.
Absolutely right.
Lied to the kingdom.
Absolutely
all that
right.
kind of stuff. So it's like there's legitimate beef there. Anyway, guys, listen. We've got man here. By the way, some people misunderstanding me, and I'm seeing the line chat. Oh, John, how can you say she slept with the whole guard? I'm not saying that Rhaenyra slept with the guard. I'm saying remember, we're talking about from Alicent's perspective.
Right.
Well, all she's seen is Rhaenyra lying to this and this. So in Alicent's mind, she's probably slept with the whole guard. I mean, that's what she's thinking. And she kind of has every right to think that because the situation, the circumstances she's been in. It's been terrible. Okay, look, we're going to keep going with your questions here. But before we do, we're going to let Kris tag in here. And we're going to take a second and thank the sponsor of this episode right now. I'm wearing their stuff today, True Classic. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, True Classic. This brand new sponsor has the absolute best fitting t-shirts that a man can buy. Finding the right t-shirt with a little bit of a dad bod is incredibly frustrating. Most t-shirts are either way too tight on your gut or look way too big and boxy. You're not in high school anymore and it's time to upgrade. True Classic has already helped over 2 million men finally get a better fit at an affordable price. And the John Campea Show viewers and listeners get access to the best deal they offer. For a limited time only, get 25% off using the code CAMPEA at trueclassic.com. Look, you and I both know that almost all of men's t-shirts are designed to look good on skinny models with six-packs. But let's be honest, that's not most of us. True Classic tees taper off towards the bottom, but they fit tighter around the chest and shoulders. It's time to highlight your best attributes with a t-shirt that you can always confidently throw on. Like most of you guys, ever since college, I have always struggled to find proper fitting t-shirts that are comfortable. Well, True Classic, from the moment I put on the shirt they sent me, solves it. And True Classic doesn't just stop at tees. From polos and workout shirts with the same flattering fit. Upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic. Get 25% off at trueclassic.com with the promo code CAMPEA. Free shipping included on purchases over $100. 100% risk-free guarantee with a 30-day refund policy. Stay classy with True Classic. Your dad bod will thank you. And thank you to our friends at True Classic for sponsoring this episode and for giving me my favorite shirts that I have in my wardrobe now. All right, we are now joined by Kris Carr is here. Kris.
Hi.
Good to have you here.
Nice to be here.
So,
I'm so much shorter than Rob.
All right, so let's just dive into it here. What is the next question we got up?
All right, from Sam Fisher. I know it's weird to say, but I feel like Viserys would have lost more than just his arm in 10 years. And I love Alicent has to basically rule because he's so sick.
I'm not. Why? He just lost 2 fingers after, like, how much time passed between episode 1 and episode 5?
Yeah.
There was the 1-2 year jump. There was another jump. So let's minimum 3 or 4 years. I can't remember exactly. And he just lost 2 fingers. So now that I'm not sure that he would have had more gone. Plus he's got the hair going and he's obviously still very sickly. So to me, it looks like the progression of his ailments has stayed at the same pace the whole time. But at least that is to me. All right.
I think so too.
What's next?
From Alex Von Gollum, my theory is that next episode, several deaths will occur to level the playing field. Rhaenyra's decision to move made it easier for Aegon to become king.
If Viserys dies, but I'm not really sure about that. Again, for her perspective, by the end of it, it looks like Rhaenyra's perspective is us being here just keeps causing more drama. We need less drama. So we're going to move to Dragonstone. Probably should have done it years ago. By the way, I really like the relationship between her and her husband's name, the husband's name is eluding me.
Rhaenyra's husband?
Yeah.
Lenore? Something like that?
Lenore, well, yeah.
Yeah.
All these characters' names, it's difficult for me to keep track of, but I really like the nature of their relationship.
Yeah.
They still have a legitimate friendship. He has clearly been trying to live up to his end of the deal. He's playing the thing. And then when she says to him at the end, bring him along. We need all the swords we can get. Like, that was a really nice gesture on her part as well. So I kind of like that relationship.
I do too. There's obviously been a little bit of contempt there with her being like, you've enjoyed court. You've gotten a great deal out of this.
Let's not pretend like you've been living in a set.
Yeah. You need to just, support me now.
Yeah.
So, game recognized game.
I like that. All right. What's next?
From Alex Von Gollum. Oh, wait, no, we just did that one. From Sam Fisher. Might be too early to tell, but while I liked Emma D'Arcy as Rhaenyra, I think I liked Millie Alcock better.
Well, I mean, you got to keep a couple things in mind. You had 5 episodes with her, and she got to be your first exposure to the character.
Yes.
So that's going to kind of become the set template in our heads. So I'm not saying I prefer one over the other, because listen, this is now a character that's evolved.
Yes.
She wouldn't be the same character. She's a different woman now 10 years later. She's been through a lot. So again, of course I get that, because she was the first one we had playing the role. We had her for five episodes, and now we've got this new person. I'd say give it to the end of the season before making any kind of decision about that.
I would agree with that. And plus that whole opening scene, the birth and then going up the stairs and doing all of that, that was hey, it's still Rhaenyra. It's still the character that you have kind of grown with along this show.
And what a way to introduce the new actor in the role.
Yes.
Playing the role.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they just came
Emma
right out
D'Arcy is
swinging.
killing it. They're so good.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All right, what's next?
From William Dwan. Good to see that Daemon is free to marry again. Pity that Rhaenyra is not. I was really rooting for those two.
Who knows what's going to happen?
A nephew and a niece, or an uncle and a niece. Come on,
I mean, it's
those
look,
poor kids.
And before people start writing, well, John, you see in the books, they are more than they have shown they're more than willing to take liberties.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, let's not count anything out at this point.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Sam Fisher again. Looks like next episode we get the famous dagger scene we've been hearing about, where Alicent tries to stab Rhaenyra in open court.
Well, that was one of the scenes that they showed in early previews, where what is the line Rhaenyra says? Now everyone sees you for what you are, or something like that. So I don't know what the context of that scene is. But I heard somebody say, because I haven't seen the main preview for next week, but I heard somebody say that was going to be a part of it. It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
So what happened? Does she come back from Dragonstone? Is there another time jump? Does Viserys and Alicent go to Dragonstone? I mean, I don't know. But yes, the knives come out, and I think that is representative of the Civil War is now brewing. And so I'm very excited. I'm very excited for next week. All right, what's next?
From Mike's Movie Madness. Larys intrigues me, and I can't figure out his motivations. Even though they are bastards, those children are his nephews. His father is Hand. Second part, if power is what he seeks, wouldn't the smarter move be to ensure his bloodline ascends to the Iron Throne?
Listen, he obviously sees himself as second fiddle in the family, right? His older brother is the heir to whatever stone, whatever the name of their place is. And he's obviously the favorite son. We've never even seen Larys speaking to his father in this, right? So instead of, hey, my brother's illegitimate children are technically my nieces and nephew. You know what? Or I've got the queen right in front of me, and I can have the queen in my pocket. And that's just the way evil people think. I just think, God, this character... He is a middle finger.
He absolutely is.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how this evolves.
Yeah, and what's better, having your nephews be, heir to the throne?
Who, by the way, can never even acknowledge that you're their uncle.
Exactly. Or being the queen's hand, which is what it seems like he is positioning himself to become. Once Viserys is out of the picture, hey, you need a new hand. And I just got rid of that other one.
Well, he can never be the queen. She can never have the throne, right? Like, she can never have the throne.
But if he's got her ear and she's doing everything, yeah.
All right. What's next?
From William Dwan, I don't know what Allison is talking about. Those kids are clearly Laners. Allison is just delusional and jealous of how strong Rhaenyra's boys are.
They're so strong. Their hair turns black.
They're so strong.
I just, and again, I'm like, and I'm glad the show points it out. Because if the show didn't point it out, I would probably grumble against the show. It's like, come on. Everybody would know that those aren't their kids.
Yeah.
She is messing around with somebody else. And I like the fact that the show itself covers that basis by having people talk. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's just the king is in denial, and so nobody can say anything out loud. So, and then once he dies, Rhaenyra ascends to the throne, no one can still say anything.
Exactly.
So it's kind of a catch. It's a little bit of a catch. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny too, because I like that scene when Alicent comes into Aegon's room and he's, waxing the car out in the city. It was a beautiful view. It was a beautiful
view of the city. There are apparently no socks in all of Westeros.
No, none at all. And like, I even like the fact that she was, he goes, I don't care. He's like, this dude just doesn't care.
Yeah.
This is like, oh, okay, I'm not going to make a claim to the thrones. I got nothing to worry about.
Yeah. I'm a kid.
Yeah. And she's my sister.
Yeah.
Which is weird to think about still, but all right. What's next?
From Sam Fisher. I think part of showing Daemon and Laena's kids is that we were supposed to see what Rhaenyra and Laenor's kids should really look like.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah, I get that, but I think there's more to it than that. I think those girls are going to come to play. Daemon's daughters are going to come to play an important role moving forward, and I think that unhatched dragon egg is going to. Again, I'm not somebody who's read the books.
Oh, it's Chekhov's gun.
Oh,
we've talked about it so many times. It's got to go off.
Yep. All right. What's next?
From Glenn Mark. Hi, Glenn. I miss you. Bird droppings. 2. No Aegon's window. This was the soup goop of.
It was the soup goop of Westeros.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't. I didn't know that they had Amazon Prime in Westeros, so they could watch The Boys. That was. Listen, I get it, teenage boys, but I was a teenage boy and I never did that.
That's a choice.
That's a choice. That's a unique individual choice.
You made a lot of effort to be like, this is how I'm going to wank today.
This is a great window. I got an idea. All right, what's next?
From Sam Fisher, like the featurette said, I really like the irony of Daemon having to make the same choice for Laena that Viserys had to make for Emma. Oh, I loved that.
Yeah, but it also, here's something that tells me, why would you have any kids beyond 1? It seems like, especially like with Rhaenyra as well, like who saw what her mother went through and died. You'd think if you were Rhaenyra, you'd have 1 kid and say, listen, I'm going to cut it off.
Apparently they also don't have the pullout method in Westeros. No one's come up with that, Jim.
Nobody's abandoning ship. And that was like, nope.
I've committed.
But like, or after 2 kids, I'd be like, that's it.
Yeah.
We're done. That's good enough.
And especially if you live in a world where gender is important and you had a boy the first time. Oh, yeah. Dunzo. Hey,
and
there's
then you had another boy.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Just stop.
You saw what happened to your mom. Mm-hmm. Cut it off.
Get your plan T.
Get your plan
Gosh.
T. All right, what's next?
From Irene Jobson. Who do we think will be Rhaenyra's next lover?
Oh, my God. Probably, my guess would be Daemon.
Is Harwin dead, though? Because that was an off-screen death.
I think the implication was there was a big charred skeleton that was dragged out. I mean, I don't see how he would have gotten out of there. He was like the last time we saw him, he was literally starting to get engulfed in flames.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess yes.
Well, this was my problem with the episode, though, is that I was told that they were in love. And I saw moments of it, right? That farewell, him talking to his father, all of that kind of stuff. That was really lovely. But I didn't care that much when he died because I didn't have time to get connected or emotionally involved in that relationship.
See, I didn't care about the character dying. Mm-hmm. I was more intrigued by what pieces of the political puzzle, what's going on. Like that, his death was more about Larys.
That's very true.
His death wasn't, and I don't even know if him and Rhaenyra were actually in love. Like, look, when Rhaenyra and Laenor first met, she said to him, listen, you've got your appetites, I've got mine. Mm-hmm. Let's get married, let's do our duty, and let's both indulge our individual appetites. So I don't know. And I'm saying this, I don't know. I don't know that she was in love with that dude at all, other than he was the buffet of her appetites. I just don't know.
Maybe. They don't go home for dinner in Game of Thrones.
They do not go home.
They get their appetite and they go to that restaurant.
They get their appetizer, their entree, and their dessert.
It's all there. And then you go home and you're like, hi.
Yeah, so I agree. I never felt any sort of, oh, poor Rhaenyra when he died. It wasn't that at all. It was like, holy shit, this Larys is not effing around.
That's fair. I just, what I loved so much about like Sean Bean dying and in the original Game of Thrones was I had a whole season to be like, oh, what, you killed that guy? So I'm hoping for more of those kinds of deaths. Because right now, when someone dies, I kind of don't care.
Right. Well, so far we haven't had any of the main characters die off, right? We had Daemon's wife, who nobody ever met.
Yeah.
We had the
Mr.
Joffrey
Krabs.
dude. What's that?
Mr. Krabs died.
We had Mr.
Well,
Krabs
Mr. Krabs died, but nobody cared.
No one
about
cared.
him. He was a plot device, so that's fine too. So, like, we haven't had a Daemon or an Alicent or even a Viserys or Otto or Rhaenyra or Corlys or like any of the majors die yet. That's probably coming though.
Probably.
All right, what's next?
From Andy, Aegon Targaryen came off as a jerk off in that dragon chamber at the start of this new episode. I just didn't expect him to actually jerk off.
You know, here's the thing. I think people are giving Aegon too hard of a time. All right? Okay.
He sure gave himself one.
Oh, no.
Sorry, you just walked into that. And
I guess I kind of did. I think he's getting a bad rap.
Okay.
He is a young teenage boy. What group of siblings did not pick on one of their siblings?
That's very true.
Now, granted, maybe a closed door, maybe a sock, but what teenage boy has not kind of done what he was doing? He's a little aloof, for sure. But we haven't, like a lot of people are saying, and I get this, a lot of people are saying is, all that was representing that he has no consideration for anybody else and he'd be a terrible king. He's a kid. And he's doing things, I think, right now that kids do.
Yeah.
I don't think he's particularly strong, but I don't see him as an evil character.
No, he's an entitled little brat, which, I mean, if you were in that position of power, too, if you were a prince, do you think you're going to behave like a sweet boy all the time? No.
No, hell, I'm the king's son.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Exactly.
Again, listen, and maybe there are people who have read the books right now that are screaming at me through the things. You don't understand what's coming, John. You're right. I don't understand what's coming. I'm just going by what the show is showing me at this point.
Right now, he's just like an 80s movie bully.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's, what did you call him? Whatever kid. He's a bratty kid.
He's a bratty kid.
He's a bratty kid. Some of the best people were bratty kids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a nightmare as a teenager.
All right. What's next?
From Andy. Aegon Targaryen jerking in his room up in the tower. I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Yes, you can, Homelander. I mean, Aegon.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those of you who haven't seen The Boys, that is the line of, and yeah, that's probably part of it. Mm-hmm. He's a kid who realizes, I'm the king's son. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And he's acting thusly. But I haven't seen any Joffrey behavior in him. You know what I mean?
Not
I haven't seen
yet.
that yet. I haven't seen that yet.
I mean, is it ideal to have somebody masturbating out a window and just letting that plop on the people below?
It depends on the circumstances.
It's not great.
There might be some good days for that.
Yeah, I don't want to kink shame anyone. Someone's happy about that. But still, oh my God, Taylor.
Isn't that what the song is about?
Come to my window, God.
Oh, well done. Aviation shot of the day, my friend. Oh my goodness.
let's see if we can get Kris fixed in that window there too. All right, what's next?
From Andy, Sir Kristen Cole was such a Chad at the start of the show. Now he reeks of incel energy like he got friend zoned hard by his crush.
He is such a little loser.
He is.
Like, I get it. Okay. Oh, no. The girl I like doesn't want to like me the way I want her to like me.
I wanted to marry her and she just wanted to have sex with me. That's not great, but...
Like, sack up and get over it, you pathetic loser. That character is such a little douche.
Yeah. And it bums me out because he like looks like Flynn Rider and I want him to be charming and romantic and lovely. And instead he's just throwing around the C word. I get it. He's been burned. I understand.
But it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah.
Like, just get over it,
Exactly.
dude.
Especially since you were really upset that you had sex in the first place. Like, I broke my vow of chastity. Okay. Don't have sex there again. Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Move on.
Or do what a man does and blame yourself.
Yeah.
You made a choice,
Yeah.
dude. So whatever. The guy's a little snake. Look, again, I have not watched this thing, whatever, but I'm really looking forward to the episode where he dies.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's coming, but I hope it is. All right, what's next? You know what? There's only one character in all of television I want to see die more than, what's his name again?
Kristen Cole.
Kristen. There's only one character on television I think deserves to die more than Kristen, and that's Nate in Ted Lasso.
Oh, that's fair.
So Nate and Ted Lasso and Kristen, same level to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
From Sam Fisher, was that Emma's ring Viserys was holding at the end of the episode? I couldn't tell. Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Like, Ann asked me the same thing. Whose ring is that? I was like, you know what? I'm not really clear on that. Maybe you guys in the live chat have a feeling about it. Let us know. All right, what's next?
From Andy, 1 of 2, I kind of get why Sir Kristen Cole would pummel someone's face for accusing him of infidelity with the princess. After all, the accuser's name was Joffrey. But damn, doing what Joffrey did to another knight to get a reactive confirmation, it was cathartic to see his douchey incel ass kicked.
I'm still a little unclear about why he beat that guy to death. I'm still a little unclear of it because that guy, basically what that guy said was he went to Kristen to say, look, I know your secret and now you know mine and we've got to see. So we need to protect these two. And so I'm still a little unclear why that triggered him so harshly, that he felt like, I don't know, did he felt like he was protecting the princess's secret? But I guess if that Joffrey dude knew, then the husband is going to know. I mean, so I'm still a little unclear about that. Do you have a better perspective on that?
I feel like it was more so about his own shame about the situation and his anger towards Rhaenyra of, you want your cake and eat it too. You want to be with me, but not marry me. You're going to stay with this guy. And this guy also is not loyal to you. Kristen Cole seems like somebody who has a very, very high moral compass, at least in his own mind. And I think that whole chat basically was, oh, no. I want nothing to do with this. This is so against everything I am as a person. This is disgusting. I don't want to be part of this like weird quadruple couple. And I think that's part of why. And also, I think it was just because Joffrey was assuming that they were cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
And I think that really bothered Kristen to a point of murderous rage.
Yes.
You know how when you're bothered and you murder someone?
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Some people eat their feelings.
Yeah. I just go get some Ben and
death.
Jerry's and then other people turn people's faces into pumpkins.
All right, what's next?
From Daniel Vacara, they improved on Lena's death from the book where she wants to ride Vhagar one last time. She then dies on the stairs and Daemon carries her body to bed.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I like how the showrunner afterwards said, like, we weren't going to do that in this. So, like, we understood that she needs to have a better ending than that. And that, again, nothing more Klingon than sitting in front of her own dragon.
Ooh.
And telling her dragon, which felt so bad for the puppy because he's like, I don't want to do that. But he
What
did
a
it.
compelling scene. Like, if you had asked me, are you going to be emotionally attached to a dragon? Oh my gosh, that whole moment of this weird kind of reverse white yeller, or white yeller. I combined my white fang and old yeller.
Reverse old yeller.
Reverse old yeller was so moving. I did not think a dragon was going to make me like tear up.
And
But man,
how awesome is that dragon? That is like maybe the most awesome dragon I've ever seen.
it's
Other
so
than maybe
cool looking.
the dragon in The Hobbit. That's like the one
Smaug.
Smaug. That might be the most badass dragon I've ever seen.
It's really, really
It's got
cool.
so much age and character and power
Yeah.
in its face. Oh,
The design
love
is so
that.
good.
All right, what's next?
From Alif Bazrali, excuse me. Damn, Larys is cold. He did his family dirty. Why do it? What are his motivations?
Everybody's motivations in Westeros is the Game of Thrones. He's playing the game.
Power, baby.
Yep, he's positioning himself. He's totally positioning himself. He wants the queen in his pocket. This has been the long game. He's been playing the long game in this for 10 years. Mm-hmm. Like to the point now that he's even having private dinners with the queen and all that kind of stuff. And now it's coming to fruition. Now we are complicit in the murder. And I have done this for you.
Yep.
and I'm sure you're going to repay me. Like it is the same motivations everybody has in this place. He's playing the game.
Exactly.
And he's an asshole, but he's playing it well.
Oh yeah. He's a smarmy little bastard, but he's smart.
Because not only now does he have the queen in his pocket, he is now inheriting whatever the name of the place was that was about to go to his brother. He's now inherited all that title, all that land, all that property, and he's got the queen in his pocket now. I mean, so it was a bold move. Bold move. All right, what's next?
From Dante Diego. Hey guys, this episode felt like the beginning of a new season. In hindsight, do you think the House of the Dragon team at HBO would have extended the roles of young Rhaenyra and Alicent now that the fans love them?
No, because you don't know. That's bad. Bad. You don't go, oh, well, we had our story, but fans like these actors. Change the story so we can keep the actors. No. That's not the way you do it. You have your story and you believe in your story, and then you cast appropriately for your story. And if you're jumping ahead 10 years, then it's time you got to replace those actresses. Yeah, people love those actresses. Listen, they cast those actresses counting on that the audience will love them. And knowing that the audience would love them, that's why they cast them in the first place. You did that knowing that we're now going to shift gears and put these other two brilliant actresses in the role who can take over the role moving forward. You don't change your story for the sake of the actor playing the role, ever. That's a recipe for terrible storytelling.
The actor is the servant of the story.
Yes.
That's the whole point.
The actor is the servant of the character, and the character is the servant of the story. Yep. All right, what's next? By the way, I was saying, what's the name of the place again? A whole bunch of people, including Kyle and William and a few others, were mentioning that it's Harrenhal is the place that Larys is going to now inherit.
Oh, well, man, and his brother was so set up for it, though, because his name's Harwin, so Harwin Harrenhal.
Yeah.
Harwin's Harrenhal. Sounds like a weird place where you go play darts.
He was a handsome man, by the way.
He was.
Yeah, handsome man.
Man.
All right, what's next?
From Daniel Vacara, I don't like the fact that Damon's scene with consoling his daughters was cut, which somehow leaked. In the book, he loves them and Lena. It feels like the show is pushing Rhaenyra as the only one for him. I disagree.
I disagree too. Look, they had that wonderful scene prior to her death where she literally walks in and he's sitting there like it looked like a Westeros's version of helping her do her homework. He was sitting there, clearly has a lot of joy with them. Though the one daughter set up a little bit of drama, like, father ignores me. And like the mom says, your father's doing his best, whatever. Maybe that's a dragon thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I thought that was all done really good. By the way, so I want to bring this up, and I'm glad somebody mentioned this in the live chat just now because I meant to bring this up earlier. I think a lot of fans look at that in reverse because some people are saying, man, I don't know if they did a good enough job getting the older actress who looks enough like the younger actress. Remember, that's not how they cast it. They cast the older actresses first. They weren't trying to find actresses that look like the younger ones. They went out to try to find younger ones that look like the older ones.
Yes.
So just something to keep in mind about that. All right. And I did think they did a pretty good job.
I thought they did a great job. Yeah, I really do think Damon had real love for her.
I agree.
I mean, he talks about what a brave girl she is, my brave girl. I don't think he was going to make the same choice as his brother either. I think he genuinely wanted to try to save Lena.
Right. But I mean, they did kind of like, she was going to die. Like,
yes.
The reason why I understood Viserys' decision because my wife is going to die either way. But one of the choices gives a chance that my son may live. Like choice A or choice B, my wife dies. Choice A, they both die. Choice B, one might live. And so that's why I think the Maester in episode 1, when he said to Viserys, sometimes, Your Grace, a parent is called upon to make a terrible decision. And it's true. And I don't know if the scene with Daemon now was showing that he had more compassion for his wife or showing that Daemon doesn't have the strength that his brother has.
Ooh.
Like,
that's a neat take.
Because we know that, like, Viserys was miserable after the death of his wife.
Yes.
His wife was his world. And so he had to come up with the strength to say, like, to number one, comprehend that my wife is going to die regardless. There's nothing that can be done for her at this point. So do we do what it needs to be done to try to save her child, or do we let them both die? And I wonder if the juxtaposition of Damon's situation and hers was yet another example that Damon simply did not have the strength that his brother did. Although your heart breaks for both of them.
Oh,
in
yes,
that.
absolutely.
And clearly that hurt Damon a
Yeah.
lot. I just thought it was a really nice scene all the way around. All right, what's next?
From Daniel Vacara, Aegon is Finn Wolfhard in a wig, just uncanny. They do look a lot alike.
They actually, you know what? You're
Yeah.
right. Dear God. It's
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even think about that, but as
Wow.
soon as you said it, I'm like, oh my God, I can totally see that.
That's wild.
Put a little white powder on the, just, a little white makeup powder on the
Yeah.
face, bleach the hair. You're right. It's freaking Stranger Things and House of the Dragon.
He looks so much like his mother. He looks so much like Georgia Tennant. It's wild
I
to
thought
me.
he was adopted.
He is, but he's Georgia's son. And then she married David Tennant.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I didn't. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense to me now. I didn't know the whole lineage of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. If
I
you
learn
guys
something
are
every day.
familiar, she was Jenny, the doctor's daughter in Doctor Who, if you
Right.
don't know who the actress is.
All right,
Wonderful.
what's next?
So talented. Daniel Vacara. Rhaenyra is portrayed as a better mom in the episode than Alicent to further show their dichotomy. Alicent is abrasive with Aegon and knew it was him with the prank, but still called Rhaenyra's kids savages.
Well, I think a lot of parents would still place the blame on other people's kids. And if she's abrasive with Aegon, to me, because she looked like she was pretty good with her daughter. But with Aegon, it's like she's got to drive home to this kid. Our lives are on the line here.
Yeah.
Like we're not talking like we could get in trouble. We could get slaughtered. We could die.
Unalive.
We could get unalive. Our subscription to life may get canceled. And she's just trying to, and she's frustrated and she feels like she's backed into a corner. And like, I love the one line in it when she says, maybe if my father was hand, he says, well, I don't know that Otto Hightower would be impartial in this. No, but he would be partial to me. And like everywhere she turns, nobody's partial to her.
Yeah.
Her husband is not on her side. Her obvious, her former best friend and the husband's daughter is not on her side. The kingdom doesn't seem to be on her side, whatever. And so that kind of bubbles a little bit, I think. All right, what's next?
From Elif Beyrousley. Sir Christian Cole sees things in black and white, good or bad. Plus, he holds grudges for a long time. Yeah, for a decade.
See, I got to understand something here too. How come, what's his name, Strong, standing in the background there, how come he beats this guy up a little bit and gets stripped of his title, all that kind of stuff shipped away? Kristen literally at a wedding straight up murdered a dude.
He murdered a guy.
But he can be the queen's personal guard.
I think it's just up to the queen.
But I mean, wouldn't the king and the rest of the court and everybody have something to say about that?
You would think so. There seem to be very big double standards in King's Landing.
All right, what's next?
From Elif Beyrousley. Rhaenyra isn't making smart choices. Having an affair and having Strong's kids is not good. Fleeing to Dragonstone is also another dumb decision.
See, I get the decision to go to Dragonstone because while, look, there's both decisions have pros and cons. Obviously, they mentioned that her rationale had been she's got to stay close to try to counter whatever Alicent does. But at the same time, the longer they stay there, out of sight, out of mind, that's exactly what they want to be right now. The longer they stay there, more whispers, more talk, more things can happen, more shit that Alicent can try to pull, more stuff like, listen, Kristoff literally, I keep wanting to call him Kristoff. Kristen literally put her children in danger. Like that could have gone badly. What happened in the courtyard, right? So her thought right now is, out of the two not great options, this is our best option, is to go to Dragonstone. And maybe that'll work out, maybe it won't, but I get the rationale behind it.
Absolutely.
All right, what's next?
From Elif Beyrousley. I thought of season 1 of Game of Thrones when Ned was looking at the parentage of Joffrey. Damn, those strong genes are strong?
Yeah, look,
They are.
I mean, looking at hair color and the genealogy, it's like, again, come on, everybody knows.
I didn't skip that day where we did our little Punnett squares and you figure out how genes work.
Again,
It's dominant.
That's the one thing about my when I think about Rhaenyra is that this was so not smart.
Yeah.
Like, if you had to get your appetites sated, do it with somebody from an old Valerian family. Like, just make sure your kids aren't born where everybody can clearly see it ain't your husband's kid, and then do it again. and then do it again. And so it just, seems like not smart.
Obviously, she has feelings for him since she does continue to see him and bear his children.
Yeah.
But you would think at some point, hey, let's just do our kingly and queenly duties and just try to pop a baby in me every now and then.
Yeah.
So some of them look
I'm
like
not going to pretend to understand the biology of it. I don't, but still, or just say we haven't been able to have a kid.
Yeah.
Or do what one story did. I can't remember what story it was, where send off your servants in the middle of the night to some Valerian family that has a baby. It doesn't maybe not want the baby and adopt that baby and say that that baby is yours.
Yeah.
Boom. Problem solved. But whatever. All right. What's next?
From Dakota Caller, Aegon must have learned that from watching Succession. Weirdos getting off on their own power that they did nothing to earn figures. Ew.
The interesting thing about Aegon is that he doesn't seem to have any interest in power. Like when confronted with it, he's like, I have no plans on making a claim to the throne. I'm not interested. So he doesn't have, he's going to get pushed into this by his mother. And I understand her reasoning because she wants him to survive. Mm-hmm. For her, it's not about win the throne so you can have power. It's win the throne so you live. That's from her perspective. Now we as an audience, we feel pretty comfortable that once Rhaenyra gets the throne, she's not going to go off and kill her half brothers and sisters. But Alicent doesn't know that. But right now that's the big difference. Is that he doesn't seem to be getting off in power because he doesn't seem to be seeking it, which is interesting.
No.
All right, what's next?
From Elif Beyrasley, Alicent is the queen. She was running that council meeting. She is ruling the kingdom. Alicent isn't messing around.
Alicent is not messing around. Mm-hmm. It was really interesting when we came back to that. Now she sits on the small council, which was obviously a big development sometime in the previous 10 years. She clearly has a voice on there as well. We got to see the way her and Rhaenyra are even just about the thing, should we have established a military post? That's expensive. Well, war is more expensive. And guess what? Rhaenyra was right.
Yep.
War is way more expensive. And so there's just a lot of setup with that.
Oh, yeah. And Alicent sitting there openly rolling her eyes and sighing at Rhaenyra and everything, too, is such a power move.
Yep.
Of just, I'm on this council with you, and I think you're bullshit.
Yeah. Oh. All right. What's next?
From Angel Young, all hail Olivia Cook and Emma D'Arcy. They nail it.
They really do. I
job.
thought they did a great job of convincing me these are both of those characters that have progressed 10 years from now. The appropriate amount of evolution while still maintaining the core of their character. I thought they did fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Dakota Caller, I hope that Cole is cursed by Rhea's dragon.
I hope, I don't know. I hope he just gets really bad diarrhea and shits himself to death. Like,
Whoa.
I think that,
What a way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is just one of the most awful people we've ever seen. Like seriously, Johnny's not that. No, he really is that bad. He's that awful of a person. I just want him to die badly.
He endangered children. It's messed up,
Yes.
which I know happens a lot of Game of Thrones, but still.
All right, what's next?
From Ryan Lohner. Rhaenyra is half Baratheon, but has perfect Targaryen hair. So apparently it really does mean nothing.
Is Rhaenyra half? Was her mother Baratheon?
She was Targaryen, I thought. And then I thought that they had Targaryen.
Bring that up
Baratheon
again
blood
for
or
a
something.
second. Let me see that again. So, I thought it was saying Rhaenyra. I thought it was saying Rhaenyra. So sorry.
that's my bad.
That makes far more sense. Far more sense. So what are they saying? Does it say it's only the father's genes, or this is the part of Westeros biology I'm just not really, or Valerian biology I'm just not really clear on, because Rhaenyra's kids are every bit half Targaryen as Alicent's kids are. Mm-hmm. So I'm not really clear on how all that works. All right. What's next?
All right, so that's all that's showing up on the activity feed, but I found some that were not loaded in there. Do you want me to read them?
Yeah,
to you?
please do.
All right, so from William Dwan, that's a villain origin story for Aemon right there. Well, thanks God, the guy is dragonless, so he can't unleash his pent-up aggression on the realm. Did we?
Yeah, that's coming though.
Yeah.
That's coming. You know that's coming.
Yeah.
They didn't have that little scene down in the caves for no reason whatsoever. That is absolutely coming.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's next?
Also from William Dwan, imagine if Rhaenyra picked a blonde to cheat with. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
That's the thing.
That would have been the smarter move.
You have
biologically.
Like you'd think. Now, granted, going back when she was younger, she did not always make the smartest moves. And that was not a smart move. Listen, I get it. Like she said when they got engaged, you have your appetites, I have mine. Let's do our duty and satisfy our own appetites. Great. But you got to be smart. And that was one of the stupidest things you could have done. So, yeah. All right. What's next?
All right, from Sam Fisher, I think Laris is my favorite character. He seems like he's going to be a mix of, Tyrion and
Tyrion
and Varys. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Smartest man in the room. And
No, he is the smartest man in the room. Yeah. He's the one who's playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers.
Yeah.
He's 3 moves ahead of everybody else. He started laying his plan 10 years ago. Is when he's playing the long game. He's playing the game with patience, and he's playing the game with ruthlessness. Okay, here's the time for my move. Got to kill my dad and my brother to do it. No problem. Here we go. Yeah. Cut out these guys' tongues. Sure. I mean, he's making moves, and he's the best in the Game of Thrones right now in this show. He's the best player.
Yeah.
And so let's see what happens. All right, what's next?
All right, from Noah Kasser. It's always so much fun to watch these episodes with my girlfriend like we did when we binge watched Game of Thrones. We're loving the show. Also, hi, Kris and Taylor. Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hello. And listen, that's one of the great things about a show like Game of Thrones is that there's lots of shows I love to watch, but there is a smaller group of shows that you love to watch with other people.
Yes.
Like, I think if a new episode of House of the Dragon came out and Anne wasn't home and Ray wasn't coming over or Sol was, I think I would wait to watch it.
Yep.
And there's not a lot of shows like that for me. I gotta watch this show with other people.
Yeah.
And so do you have any other shows like that have been like that for you?
I mean, this is really it for me because everyone goes over to my friend Cullen and Nate's house. They all grill. We watch the show. My friend Miju does a recap before every episode. That's fantastic, where she acts out all the parts. It's the best. So this is really it. Everything else, like I talk about shows with my friends, but this is the one I watch with them.
Yeah, you gotta watch this one with other people. Yeah. All right, what's next?
I know we talk about Viserys. Oh, sorry, this is from Sam Fisher. I know we talk about Viserys being a bad king, but a good person. Aegon looks like he's going to be just as bad, but the Joffrey Baratheon kind of bad.
I honestly, again, I haven't seen anything of malice in this kid yet. Now, maybe it's coming, but I've not seen it. So and listen, you may hear other people saying Viserys is a bad king. I don't. I think quite often, listen, here he is now, however many years into his reign, the kingdom is still at peace currently, right? The kingdom hasn't collapsed, whatever. It's the machinations of the idiots that surround him.
Yes.
That seem to thwart his grander plans. But again, I would say, well, what's the determining factor about whether he's a good king? Everybody still seems to be prospering. The kingdom is still at peace. At this point, his family's still together, and that ain't gonna last long. But he's surrounded by a lot of people with their own designs, starting with Otto, like starting with his own hand, that he started in a place that was just, he was doomed to have a lot of bad things happen, but somehow he has kept it together. So I defy anybody that says he wasn't a good king. Has he done everything perfectly? No. Has he made mistakes? Yes.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, do I think he's been a good king? Yes, I do. I do. Other people can disagree. That's fine. All right. What's next?
From William Dwan. Vagar showed so much range this episode. There needs to be an Emmy for best
CGI dragon.
For best fictional non-humanoid actress, and Vagar needs to win it.
By the way, Vagar.
So cool. So good.
Somebody told me that there was a mention in the preview where somebody says, Vagar has been stolen. Well, that's not small. That's like misplacing a nuclear weapon. And so who got Vagar? I'm very, very interested in finding that because that's not going to be an inconsequential thing. All right, what's next?
All right, from Sam Fisher. The kid who plays Aegon is Ty Tennant.
Yes.
His dad is David Tennant, 10th Doctor, and his granddad is Pete Davidson. What? 5th Doctor. So now this kid's dad, granddad, and uncle, Matt Smith, 11th Doctor, are doctors.
Yeah.
Doctor. Yeah, a lot of people have been bringing it up. I thought that was fascinating when I found out. I'm not a Doctor Who viewer, so I that doesn't mean a lot to me. But it's very, very interesting when I found that out. It's not always cool seeing lineage at play.
Oh, yeah. Well, and their daughter, too, was in Kenneth Branagh's film. Why am I blanking on the name of it?
Belfast?
Yes. So they're just raising a little group of the next generation of English actors. It's very exciting.
All right. What's next?
All right, from William Dewan, part 1 of 3. Hi, John and crew. So, black or green? 2 of 3. It's clear that both sides have some legitimate points and grievances and share a lot of blames for what is about to happen. But personally, part 3 of 3. Burn the greens, burn them all.
I mean, look, this is one of those, and this is true in a lot of conflicts, where if you look from their perspective, you can see why they're angry. And it is very, very rare when you get a clean cut black and white. Well, this person was clearly the one that did something wrong and this person didn't. There is a lot of gray to go around with the war going on between Rhaenyra and Alicent. We've talked a lot this episode about, from Alicent's points of view, you can see why she's upset. From Rhaenyra's points of view, she is the legitimate heir to the throne. She is Viserys' daughter, firstborn, named heir. I mean, so but she's made a lot of mistakes too. I'm not a burn anybody sort of thing. I just got to see how this works out.
Yeah, I'm not sure which side I'm on fully yet.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
All right, it looks like that is all of them.
All right, guys. And that will do it for this week's installment of our Game of Thrones House of the Dragon open spoiler after show. Thank you guys so much for being along for the ride. I cannot wait for next week. I am curious to see how much, if any, time they do another skip. What point we're at that point. Again, the showrunner saying that, this episode 6, marks the transition point to the more of the focus being on those children. How much of that comes into play or not, I'm not sure. But what's something you're looking forward to next week?
Ooh, gosh, I'm really excited for us to escalate from just glares and rude words to some actual
knives are literally coming
out with
yes,
these
knives are
two
coming
women. I mean, I want Rhaenyra and Alicent to really just go for the jugular with each other. And that's going to be fun.
I hear that's what was in the preview for next week. So it looks like that is coming. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here and joining us today. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the super chat questions. Number 1, because you gave us great, insightful things to talk about. Number 2, you supported our channel while you did it. So thank you so much for supporting our videos. Guys, don't forget to come back and join us again tomorrow on the channel for the John Campea Show. That's tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Los Angeles time. We hope you guys will join us for that. All right, guys. So for everybody in the room, for Kris Carr, we got Taylor back there who's been running the show today.
Woo-hoo.
And thank you to you guys for being here. My name's John Campea. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.